absolutely amazing, only dropping 2 maps so far to land himself in semi-final #1 against teammate, against friend, but against an enemy now.
And we do have one of them spawning up to the top right-hand corner here of Daybreak in the red. He goes by the name of LGIM MVP. A lot of MVP fans out there. And spawned down to the bottom left-hand corner here as our blue Terran. A phenomenal Terran at that. He goes by the name of LGIM's YODA.
And you'll have to confirm with me, Claris, considering, you know, International Masters is your baby.
Oh.
It is.
Cute.
How many times has a replacement into a tournament done well? And I think it's a lot. I think it's not just 1 or twice. I think it's been more than that. Because if you're looking at YODA, YODA's the replacement for Symbol, who couldn't make it to this tournament.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's in the semi-final.
Yeah, I mean, it has happened from time to time. I think one of the stories that does come to mind very, very recently was Soccer at Katowice, who replaced Stefano and then finished the top foreigner at that tournament, playing so well during his group stage. So the Intel Extreme Masters certainly does produce 1 or 2 of these odd situations.
Yeah, it's definitely happened before, and I remember it just when I looked at the stats now, and you know, YODA being this person, I'm like, well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen this before at the Intel Extreme Masters and at the World Championship. This is amazing news for YODA and amazing news for his team, of course. The Intel Extreme Masters, LG's tournament at the moment, top 4. And we do have difference between builds already in this game, as we can see. 1 barracks with gas for YODA and a barracks gasless for MVP.
Yeah, won't be surprised if you see YODA there. Just trundle out that first Reaper. That will be on the way in just a little second. Meanwhile, MVP opening very economically, apparently, going for Command Center first after this. So he's going to have to fend off the Reapers with just Marines alone. But again, SCVs can repair themselves quite easily through that harassment. So he shouldn't lose too much in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Just different openings, but getting into the same place. Just a little later here for YODA, of course, who's got a second supply depot down as well because he's building Reapers. And we'll expand shortly enough here. And of course, compared to MVP, who's going to have to defend in the early stages. We'll have to see how many SCVs can get picked off here by YODA to start to balance that economy wars. And an interesting fact here, MVP has won only the GSL multiple times before. That's the only tournament he's done.
Yep.
But looking at this today, this tournament, which will conclude today, MVP could be a 2-time Intel Extreme Masters champion, having won the first one in Cologne earlier or later towards the end of last year in August or around that Gamescom. And here's the Reaper, man. No SCV kills yet, but just scouting.
And I'm pretty sure that will make MVP, if he wins this, the only multiple Intel Extreme Masters champion in StarCraft 2. So that is a pretty impressive feat for him there. But YODA's on the way to try and stop that. And then waiting in the wings, we still have that PvP round of 4 between all his teammates as well.
All right, so no SCVs were killed with that Reaper opening. So to be honest, I would edge this a little bit over to MVP. The only thing that MVP hasn't got is scouting information until now. As he enters the base, we'll see the command center eventually here, definitely upon seeing the barracks and factory being late, but with double Reapers coming in here, we are going to see an SCV fall for the first time. Maybe a mule, maybe not, but, well, there was an option to go into the main base there, but he chooses the escape path.
Yeah.
Loses 1 Reaper in turn, and MVP, without seeing it, he has to know this. This is MVP. This is the best StarCraft 2 player there is. He's not going to, you know, go in here and be like 5 minutes 45, and he's kind of got the late factory and late barracks being added on. He's obviously made a mistake here. No, he's going to go look on the natural and probably pop back in the main base, just have a quick look.
Yep, and with that, we do have those Widow Mines on the way here for YODA, with that starport as well, so there's the potential for a lot of aggression as this Reaper will kill the SCV just barely before I think he saw that.
He just actually caught it just a split second. He knew it was there anyway, and that's just confirmed now for everyone else at home. But quite a normal opening here from MVP, but he will be expecting some form of harassment. He's seen the factories with the reactors. He knows that medivacs are going to be coming. So a couple of things that he's got to be careful of. Not so much building a turret, because you don't need to rush an engineering bay out when you have so many Marines. He needs to make sure that he has 4 Marines in the bunker on the natural and everything else in the main, and then has to be very sharp on pulling SCVs away, because this is either going to be Hellion drop or Mine drop, depending on what they're used to playing against each other. Maybe YODA always goes for Hellion drops, so this is why we're seeing Mine drops, as mentioned before. Harston analyzing the mentality going in when 2 team players go up against each other.
Yeah, and that is a very, very scary thing to go up against. Indeed, those Widow Mines can be absolutely lethal. Thankfully for MVP, because he did get his second command center earlier, he does have the ability to actually spot with scan those Widow Mines if they do actually burrow into position. But still, YODA here going for a Raven as well, adding on a second factory here. So looks like we actually might see just mech versus bio.
Yep, that's exactly true. With the Raven being added on, the third command center coming down, and the Raven being played defensively. But this Medivac has done nothing yet. It does not have its Ignite Afterburners for another couple of seconds here. It's going to have to be careful as there's a lot of Marines here, and one mine does get borrowed down, and it doesn't get... Oh, it does at the last second there get picked off with that scan, but two more coming down into the main base.
Yeah, there was another one that just caught a Marine in the main, but didn't really do too much. Catches a few of them on the retreat out there, but he now knows that that mine has used its charge for the next couple of seconds, as we do now have 50 energy saved up here, so another scan is available to MVP.
Two scans though, man. That's two scans, 4 SCVs killed, a Marine killed there, a couple of Marines killed. This is a really good trade-off here, and if you look at the SCV count, it's now in favor for YODA, so this has been a really nice opening. He had to do damage with either the Reapers or the Widow Mines, and to be honest, with a third command center down as well, I put YODA in the lead at this point. Of course, though, to balance that, he has to be super careful about the amount of Marines, Marauders, and Medivacs that are going to come out here, but that Widow Mine's about to be active.
Yeah, and will it be able to connect with too much? He actually spreads all of his units out just before that is the occurrence, and for now, will be able to get rid of that in just a little bit here with the scan going down. Kills that one off. But yet again, YODA is on the route here with another Medivac full of, I think, Hellions, actually.
Yeah, Hellions this time.
So this is a follow-up to the exact little bit of pressure that we saw before, and, well, there's already missile throws being placed down here for MVP, so he's taking good precautions, but he's moving an entire force out.
And this is perfect timing here. When Stim completes, you know from Terran vs. Protoss it completes at the 10-minute mark, and that's when he moves out. But that's when the Hellions go in here. They don't decide to go to the natural, or are they? Yes, they are going to swing around here and drop down. Where's MVP's defense?
Yeah, they're all sat at the watchtower here. He's going to get a lot of SCVs here, crippling a ton of the economy here for MVP. He's already killed off 11 workers. The bunker, thankfully, saving them for just a little longer here, but 13 workers, 14 workers go down. YODA with some great aggression once again.
And all YODA needs to do to get a massive advantage to defend against the units that moved out. The double drops are coming in. He has a lot of Hellions here. They do not have Blue Flame. There is a tank and a Raven in here as well, and he's going to have to be very, very careful because these Marines will have +1 in just 5 seconds time.
That is a lot of Hellions being able to kill off a ton of this bio, but at the same time he traded a lot of Hellions for that as well. He manages to escape there with the Afterburners on that Medivac and Rendezvous with a little bit of his force in the middle of the map. But YODA still has a 10 supply worker advantage right now, so that's really, really going to help him, especially since he's off to take his third.
Yeah, this is definitely in favor for YODA right now, and Todd actually went up to MVP and YODA just before the game started and asked MVP, you know, what do you think the score's going to be? How do you think you're going to do? And he says, well, YODA is a pretty good player. Let me tell you, he's really good, actually, despite not getting big results in his StarCraft 2 career so far. I mean, he's a balancing between Code S and Code A all the time. Requalifies for Code S, drops down to Code A. Requalifies for Code S, drop down to Code A. Compared to MVP, who's won that bloody tournament 4 times in a row. It's insane. So, you know, difference between results. But when it comes down to how they practice and who they are, MVP recognizes that YODA is an amazing player, and that's what we're seeing here with a supply lead, with the lead in this game.
Yeah, he is, and you're exactly right. YODA has only just recently qualified back into Code S, beating Marine King no less. I believe 2-1 during those Code A qualifier, Code A up and down matches. So, you know, YODA is a formidable, formidable opponent here for MVP to deal with. And look at this, he's 20 supply up right now. Admittedly, he's going for mech, so all of that is in big, big chunks there. But for now, MVP is looking for holes, but he's just not finding any.
But one thing you have to keep in consideration, because of the way that YODA played this game, very harassment heavy in the early stages, and he needed to build a lot of units and add a lot of factories to defend against what we saw, the counter-attack coming in. The one weakness of this style is not having upgrades early. He's very, very late with his armories coming in here, as we can see. 1-1's about to complete it here, compared to 0-0 on this ground army here for the mech. So that's the one weakness that YODA has in this game, is that his units won't be as strong as you would expect usually.
And I'm curious where those two medevacs are going to go. Is he going to fly? It looks like he is going to fly straight into the range of that sensor tower there, down to the south, as he tries to drop as best he can do. But the Hellions are just straight away there, ready to actually go for the defense. One siege tank only holding this location, though, for now, as well as maybe a few Hellions, but they get disintegrated very quickly, along with that missile turret. But MVP is putting on some great pressure, stretching his opponent thin, but still, I think he's just going to get pushed back.
Yeah, he's not doing enough here. He's breaking through here and there, but he's trading off all his units for Hellions, mostly. He did pick off a tank there and supply depot on a couple of SCVs, but this is not good enough from MVP. The supply advantage extends further now, 30 supply difference, and what we can start to see now is YODA just mass up, get up to past 150 supply, and then start to fortify areas with sensor towers, with turrets, start to add Vikings to make sure drops don't come in as well. And then what we'll see is closer towards 180 supply, or roughly around this area, he'll move to the middle of the map, take the fourth base as well, and then once he fortifies all the reinforcements and protects drops from the back of his base, back on his main and to his third, all the reinforcements into the middle. And this is where YODA can start to drop himself, can drop into the main base of MVP with Blue Flame Hellions, can start to do his own harassment while building up an unstoppable force.
And I'm sort of surprised MVP, behind the little bits of poking he was trying to do, didn't take his third a little bit quicker. I mean, YODA here, this lead has come from part of that fact, as well as the harassment that he did at the beginning, because he has his third so much quicker. And he's getting 1-1 now. That's going to finish up in just a little bit. 4 siege tanks at a time. If he decides to just suddenly research Hellbats and turn all of these Hellions into Hellbats themselves, then that is going to be extremely, extremely deadly here for MVP to deal with. Admittedly, though, he still wants that mobility in the original Hellions to try and deny MVP stretching him thin.
A couple of things that are going to make QXC like me more and more is that I'm spotting more areas from MVP. Where's the second engineering bay? Where's the additional factories to start to build up his tank count? Because without the second engineering bay, his upgrades will not maintain a good level. And then without additional factories, you just see a second one being added on his natural. How can he really stop being zoned out? How is he going to compete and hold locations without tank forces? And that's going to be a problem. And here come the drops.
And those Hellions are going to do a considerable amount of damage with Blue Flame now. 18 workers have gone down, not during all of this, but he goes, oh, dear me, that medevac flies into oblivion there and gets taken out pretty quickly. Nice cleanup from MVP.
MVP scanning, looking for angles. Where can he go? Where can he drop? How can he find a weakness in YODA's so far unbreakable, untouchable mech player? Big drop coming in to the top left here. There are a couple of tanks, a single turret, 2 turrets, should I say. But if you look at where the units are for YODA, he's really not that far away here. So we'll see. MVP ideally wants the units as far away as possible. Yeah,
those Vikings, if they'd have found those medevacs, that would have been catastrophe there for MVP. But for now, he's just holding the watchtower on his side of the map. This is a very, very strong army for YODA. And once he maxes out, I mean, this is going to be very, very scary to deal with. His air superiority is very, very strong as well, with those 9 medevacs out, Vikings out, in comparison to nothing here.
MVP is about to make one of the biggest moves in this game that could potentially give him the edge once again. And it's going to be holding the middle and looking like an attack, bringing all the tanks to siege up on the Zelnog tower in the middle and then drop the third base. He is willing to lose all 4 medevacs. He is willing to lose all the units. Here the move comes in. He's pulled YODA down, and now all of a sudden these units are going to come in, and 2 turrets actually.
Oh, those missile turrets already take out one of the medevacs. Second one goes down really quickly as well here. It looks like the tanks are indeed under fire. He tries to repair them, but he doesn't manage to be able to do it enough in time. This bio is trying to crush this third as best they can, but still the fourth is on the way. Still YODA here. It looks like he's going to be able to hold on. Yeah. He lost a lot of workers, 20, and another drop here from MVP, trying to stretch YODA as thinly as he can.
And he's about to drop in the main base as well. And remember that MVP is replenishing Marine Marauders like instantly because of the amount of barracks he has back at home, while holding the middle, holding the fact that he can build a 4th base. And so far, so good harassment. But at the end of the day, he still has to fight against YODA. YODA is about to approach 2-2 attack upgrades and defense upgrades for his tanks. This is going to be hard to actually hold on to. And MVP has no units, no aggressive units, no drops on the middle of the map, nothing. And we're going to see a head-to-head fight very shortly in the next coming minutes when YODA realizes that it's time to go with 2-2. And the question's going to be, how does MVP fight it? Where does he fight? And is that lack of +2 armor really going to make a difference? Because I believe it will.
Yeah, Yoda's army here is looking really darn strong with that 2-2 now finishing up. And MVP here, he's sieging up, trying to find himself a little bit of wiggle room near his opponent's army as well. All the siege tanks actually sieged up in front of the bio here whilst he tries to control the space. Is he going to try and drop? I don't think so. I mean, he's throwing down scans everywhere. And it looks like Yoda's actually just going to come in and try and push him back. Some of the siege tanks were not actually sieged up there, whilst Yoda sieges up everything. Absolute carnage rains down on that bio, taking out so much of it, plummeting 50 supply instantly. Yoda decimated the army.
Yoda says GTFO, please, because this is my game from the very beginning. Absolute annihilation in that fight. 2-2 tanks just destroyed everything, and this is purely a victory march. There is no units at all can stop this. Nothing can stop this army. Nothing can stop this march. GG.
There you go. GG for game number 1.